Hello, I'm Bernard Visaki, and today I'm going to be presenting on my second cooperative experience. For this co-op, I was a seasonal deputy harbor master for the Wareham Department of Natural Resources. I worked a total of 120 hours. My work days typically ranged from 8 to 4, 9 to 5, or 10 to 6. And this was a Wednesday to Sunday schedule, working every weekend. My first day was May 9th, and my final day of work was May 29th. So, a little bit about the Department of Natural Resources and what they do. It's a small department. They only have the harbor master, assistant harbor master. There's two natural resource officers and one animal conduct officer. Including that, there's three seasonal deputy harbor masters and three launch operators. So this department basically manage conservation areas. They improve and enhance open space areas through the land and wildlife management techniques. They also mitigate conflicts between resource users, and they address public health and safety threats that are typically associated with aggressive, sick, and injured wildlife, as well as other natural hazards. So, my role, Seasonal Deputy Harbor Master, some of my responsibilities, basically overseeing the waterways, our mooring fields, the marinas, maintaining the navigable waters throughout the placement of navigational buoys, no wake buoys, swim lines. There's also the installation of traffic, residential, parking, and tow zone signs, basically any signs around town that need placement. It's also ensuring that the pier, all of our boat ramps, and our parks are clean. Sometimes, it could include routinely cleaning and scrubbing the boats, cleaning up the bathrooms. We'll monitor the radios and patrol Wareham waters on our patrol boats. We'll also respond to animal disputes and calls, and we maintain the office and the shop areas, as well as keeping up with some town maintenance. Here we have two of our marine patrol boats. On the left, we have our whaler, and on the right, we have our Milpro Zodiac. The whaler isn't one of our newer boats, but it's not the oldest. It's got a couple years to it. And on the right, our Zodiac, that's our newest boat at the moment. It was purchased and repaired before being put on the water. Both of these boats are very fast. You can hit anywhere from 40 to 50 knots in them. So it's important while operating them to operate with caution and follow the proper safety procedures. Down here in this slide, you can see on the left we have an upweller. This is basically used for shellfish spawning. We'll put bags with shellfish eggs inside of it, and over time they'll hatch. That was actually repaired this season. A lot of the brackets were torn and worn, and they just had to get replaced. And on the right, we have our launch boat. This boat's basically used for bringing individuals to and from the dock to their boats. That's a huge service. There's a lot of boaters that need rides back and forth to their boats in the dock. So, how do I feel my major has prepared me for this job? Some relevant courses that I've taken include communicating ocean and climate science, environmental monitoring, coastal zone management, and oceanography. I think a course that I would recommend for a job like this would be vessel fam, just because prior going into this, I didn't have much experience on boats and doing deckhand work. So I think taking vessel fam and getting familiar with, kind of maritime law, how to work on boats and work around boats, I think that would have been very helpful. Just like my previous co-op, this experience was new for me, and there were gaps in my knowledge. When it came to operating a boat and deckhand material, I didn't have much experience. The staff there did do a great job of teaching me everything that I needed to know, but the knowledge gap was still prevalent. I believe that taking a class, as I said before, like Vessel Fam could be very beneficial. Learning basic material like how to tie off a boat or navigate using buoys would have made acclimation to the job easier. The MSSEP classes are great, however. I might not have learned much about how to become a deckhand. And as I said prior to this co-op, I had little knowledge of boat operation and marine navigation, but everyone was a great mentor, and they were very helpful and eager to teach as long as I was eager to learn. Before working with the Wareham Department of Natural Resources, I was hoping to build my experience with boats. Within the MSSEP major, I've done water sampling and soil grabs on the Seahorse, but I haven't learned much about how to be a deckhand or operate a boat. With this co-op, I was kind of hoping to build experience working on and around boats, and I think that this is great because I'll have the opportunity to operate different boats and learn typical boat safety. With my last co-op, I was able to build experience in the environmental and safety aspects of my major, but this co-op will be helpful because it encompasses the subjects that previously weren't there. And I think that this co-op also filled some of the gaps in my resume. I didn't have much experience with marine work and kind of field work with marine sciences, so I think this co-op did a great job of filling in some of those gaps. After working with them, I think this has been an amazing experience for me, and it's been an invaluable learning experience. Through this, I've learned that I think I do enjoy environmental remediation and project management more so than harbor master work. I have an official job offer from Strategic Environmental Services, which is dealing with environmental remediation and project management, and there I'll be working full time. And I'm looking to build a career in project management, but that wouldn't be possible if I were to remain with this marine work. I think this co-op was great because it kind of helped solidify my decision to work in project management. I think the job itself is great, but I don't see myself doing it long term. Moving on to some of the strengths. Every day was a positive experience for me. There could be days where I'm out on the boat, spending 6 hours patrolling along the coast of Wareham and the Channel. Other days, I could be assisting with work around the town or helping out some of the Wareham locals. Wareham's a large tourist town, and that causes for a lot of boat traffic. So I think it was incredibly useful to see what it's like to be out along the channels, patrolling no wake zones, making sure everyone's following boat traffic. These are some of the most important things that you can have in a marine system like that. I also found that when working around the town, a lot of these locals are older people and they're very appreciative of the work that we do. And it always makes me feel good when I hear them compliment the work that we're doing or something along those lines. And to move on to weaknesses, overall, I can't really think of any weaknesses. This was a very positive experience for me. The commute was only 4 minutes from my mom's house. I was able to gain experience boating, learning marine navigation, and how to operate boats, and I got to work with the general public, which is always great practice for really any skills. Some of the successes that I found with this co-op include learning maritime navigation and boat operation, building knowledge on moorings, upwellers, and maritime law, and my growth in knowledge regarding the Natural Resources Department in general. Some of the challenges, this is my final co-op, however I feel as though I've built several sustainable connections. Uh, Backing a boat into the dock can still be difficult for me, especially when the current's not pushing you in. That will definitely require some more practice. I'm fine pulling into a dock, but backing in is a different story. I also had to get used to working every single weekend. Instead, I would have Monday and Tuesdays off instead of the typical Saturday and Sunday. That's because the beaches are always the busiest on the weekends, so they need as many hands there as they can get. And moving on. A big significant event that I like to think back to was a yacht pullover in a no wake zone. So this happened while Ryan and I were patrolling along the channel. We were just floating along outside of the channel when this 55-foot yacht was clocked at 30 knots in a no wake zone. And typically anything over 5 to 10 knots is going to cause a wake. So it's obvious to see a boat this big going that fast, throwing up a lot of wake in a no wake zone. At that time, we flicked on our lights and we ran to pull the boat over. Once both of us were stopped, I stood back. I was kind of just the observer in this situation. The officer I was with, Ryan, and the captain were speaking while we waited for the Army Corps of Engineers to arrive. After all of that had concluded, it left with a verbal warning. I kind of find this interesting because it allowed me to see the process behind a pullover. And I think being able to get a behind the scenes view on it was very helpful. So this was something I wanted to mention about visibility, especially the yacht was going very fast in what appears to be the right photo. It's very, very foggy. At some points, you might not have had more than 10, 20 yards of visibility. And when you're a boat that big going that fast with low visibility, anything could happen. A boat could come out from the side and there could be a collision. So that has its own set of problems. This is a great comparison between 2 days, a super foggy day and a super clear day. It's always interesting to look at. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed.